Hey everyone, today we're talking financial independence. What is it, how to get it, and what's the point? I sure think a lot about money, maybe too much. But what's it all for anyway? Do I have my hopes on a fancy new car or a bigger house? No, I'm saving for something much, much better. Freedom. Not freedom like this, but financial freedom. No matter what you call it, financial freedom, early retirement, financial independence, super saving, the bottom line is that it means freedom. And that's something worth striving for every day with every decision by asking yourself, how does this spending or saving decision add to or take away from my level of financial freedom? Financial freedom is the freedom to walk away from a job or an entire lifestyle that no longer serves you and pursue a better option for you or your family instead. Because if you don't have financial independence, you have financial dependence, and that's not cool. If a situation turns dire or a workplace turns toxic, you're stuck. If you're living above your means and something unexpected happens, you lose your job or something, you're stuck with a job that you have to take or have to keep. Maybe you're stuck in a home with a big mortgage. Maybe you're stuck because of student loans or frivolous items like car payments. Maybe you're stuck driving that stuckness around. How sad is that? The author Jim Collins has a great term for the amount of money you need to have saved to walk away from your job if needed. He calls it FU money.
Somebody wants you to do something? Fuck you.
FU money gives you the confidence to try new things or to simply say no, to reclaim your time. It's cliche, but it's true. Time is our most precious resource. And financial independence isn't a binary benefit. You either have it or you don't, though sometimes it can feel that way. It's a spectrum, a dial turning up your freedom little by little. And someday, that dial is going to reach 11. Now, to achieve financial independence, especially before traditional retirement age, you must live below your means and save and invest the excess. But that doesn't mean being a miser or being miserable. You have to identify and live a lifestyle that makes you happy. It's not about sacrificing happiness. If you're miserable, it's not a good strategy, and it's counterproductive to the whole philosophy of financial independence. So once you've identified it, you need to live within that lifestyle. Avoid inflating your lifestyle just because you can or because that's what you see others doing. Don't worry what people think. Figure out what you value, what makes you truly happy, and cut out the rest as much as possible. Be efficient with your spending and investing. Do that over time and financial independence will flow to you. First as a drip, then a stream, then a river, and before you know it, you'll be swimming in an ocean of financial independence. So how do you know when you've saved enough? How do you know when you've reached financial independence? Well, first you have to track your spending. This is key. You can use something like mint.com or Personal Capital or another software. The important thing is to track that spending and to know what your life costs. Then the main guideline we have to work with is the 4% rule. The 4% rule says that if you've saved and invested 25 times your annual expenses, you can take 4% of that after you stop getting other income, take 4% out in year one, and adjusting for inflation, take that amount plus inflation each subsequent year. Once you've saved 25 times your annual expenses, you are financially independent. It's not a precise rule, but how can it be? Our level of spending and the rate of return the market has to offer is sure to change. It's impossible to predict perfectly. So we have to remain flexible. Now, some will argue that the 4% rule is too conservative, and some will argue just the opposite. I'd say it depends on the person and the situation, but regardless, the 4% rule is a great place to start. And it's perfect for quick, back-of-the-napkin math on everyday money decisions. So for any annual expense, you could multiply it by 25 and determine how much you'd need to save to cover that expense after you stop working. For a monthly expense, you can use the same trick, just multiply the expense by 300. With these multipliers in mind, we can see how cutting out a recurring expense has two great benefits. Cutting out a $10 monthly streaming subscription, for example, cuts $120 out of your annual budget and into your savings.
It also represents $3,000 that you no longer need to save. Let's look at another example. What if you could cut $83 from your monthly cell phone bill? Well, you'd save $83 per month, which you could invest, and that would represent $25,000. It's no longer an expense that you need to save for.
And that's $25,000 that you no longer need to save. For many people, that's at least a year or two of savings. In a way, that means you've worked an entire year or more to support an expensive cell phone plan. Isn't your time worth more than that?
So how long will it take to reach financial independence? Well, it all depends on your savings rate. Your savings rate is the percentage of income that you save. In other words, how much of your income did you not spend? To determine your savings rate, take your income after taxes and subtract your expenses. The result is your savings. Then, divide your savings by your after-tax income. Let's look at an example. Let's say your after-tax income is $50,000. You spend $40,000, so that means you have $10,000 of savings. $10,000 of savings divided by $50,000 of income is a savings rate of 20%. Now let's see how your savings rate determines when you'll reach financial independence. If you save 0%, you'll never get there. At the other extreme, if you save 100%, congratulations, you're already there. But what if your savings rate is the standard recommended amount of 15%? In that case, you'll reach financial independence in about 43 years, which, if you started right after college, around the age of 22, that puts you right at the standard retirement age of 65. If you want to secure financial freedom sooner than that, you'll need to crank up that savings rate. If you can save 50%, you'll get there in 16.6 years. A 75% savings rate gets you there in only 7.1 years. I'll leave a link to this early retirement calculator in the description below so you can put in your own numbers, your own savings rate, and see how long it might take you to reach financial independence. Of course, the larger your income is, the easier it's going to be to achieve a high savings rate. But just know that the math works the same on any level of income. Even the highest earners will never reach financial independence if their lifestyle inflates to match their income. So now you know what financial independence is, why you should want it, and how to get it.
Remember to subscribe to this channel for ideas on saving and investing, all with the goal of achieving early retirement, also known as financial freedom. It's perfect for quick back of the napkin math